If pro athlete Funk Roberts, who's training literally thousands of men every day and lives and breathes fitness and health, discovered that he has a bunch of hidden toxins quietly disrupting his hormones and his performance, what does that mean for the rest of us? I mean, could toxins literally be silently holding you back too? So let's find out. All right, Funk, I appreciate you for taking the time today, man. We were doing a little chat before this, man, and I think you got a really cool story, like a little before and after, all about toxins. I mean, you've been in the fitness and the pro athlete, the whole nine. So, how you doing today? We'll just start off there.
I'm great. Yeah, I'm great. I'm excited about this. Just, a lot of aha moments, a lot of things to change, a lot of, understandings through some of the toxin stuff that I know about and that, the tests that I went through. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to share whatever knowledge I can and, whatever tips and strategies as well.
Yeah, well, like we invited you here because we just thought, well, for one, like love your personality. We've chatted before, and you got to work with Dr. Savage a little bit too. You took his toxin test, like I don't know, a couple months ago, I think, and you just were like, whoa, like just blown away with what's in you, what's lurking in your blood and plasma. So I don't know. I guess let's start there and just
Sure.
like what's on your mind, and then we could dive deep into background and then kind of some aha moments.
Yeah, so the toxin test was definitely an eye opener. You know, I was excited about it because I wanted to know, like, I already know that there's a lot of toxins in the air and in things that we use and, things that we store our food in. So I kind of, but as a fitness expert and, I'm one of those walk the walk, talk the talk. But the only way to walk the walk is if you understand what the heck's going on. So when I got the test, instead of us, because he said, okay, maybe we can do it offline and then talk about it. I'm like, no, 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 no. I want you to do it online in front of everybody so that they can see what that looks like, and we can all learn together because that's really what it's all about.
Yeah, like what you're talking about now, because you have your own YouTube channel, very successful. I follow along and do the workouts.
Love
So,
it.
got to give
Love
you
it.
a big shout out there. Go follow Funk on
Thank you.
YouTube. And of course, there's more we'll talk about. But yeah, so you actually interviewed Dr. Savage, right? And talked about your toxin test results, and he broke it down live with you. That's what it was.
Yes, yes, sorry, yes. So I
You're good.
have the Over 40 Alpha podcast. I also have a membership of like 15,000 men over 40, 50, 60, 70. So this was very important because one of the key elements to my program is not only helping men get in the shape, but also naturally increase testosterone. And toxins is a massive disruptor of the endocrine system and testosterone. So I mean, I needed to see where I'm at, let alone, and not like I had any low T, but just understanding what toxins are affecting my health, my
Mm,
overall health. So when I had him on the podcast and he went through things, some of the key things that we were talking about, the plastic, um,
yeah.
I'm BPA plastic. That was like a moderate toxin, I guess, because there's different levels, high,
Yeah.
moderate, and I guess low. That was one that was moderate for me, even though I know that I still need to get rid of all the plastic food
That's another.
containers downstairs. But we are
Oh,
getting our kitchen done. Yeah, yeah. It's the plastics inside the food containers, right? So
yep.
we are getting our kitchen done. So yes, I'm gonna move to glass, my wife and I. But that was another eye opener. But the cool thing was he actually talked about how to detox that, like how to fight that. So sauna was a big thing, right? So doing saunas. So that's one thing that I've added more frequently. Frequently is saunas. I'm doing this because I have a one of those sit down saunas.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Which one do you
yeah,
have?
it's like so I work for the UFC.
Yeah.
So whenever the fighters are, I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's over. It's in that
Oh, yeah.
corner
I
there.
got you. Oh, you
Yeah,
got the
yeah.
whole
So,
setup there.
yeah, so you just kind of just open it up. It's like a tent. You sit
Yep.
in it, and then you have everything, and it's great. It's a steam sauna, and it's perfect
Cool.
because I can just open it up here. But one of the ways to get rid of toxins is using that sauna, along with all the other benefits that comes with it. So that was a behavioral change from that specific episode, from him telling me that. It's like, okay, so
Uh,
okay, let me just use that sauna instead of it sitting there all the time. Let's use it more and more, right?
yeah.
My heavy metals in the air, food, and water. So when he said that, that was high for me. So I think that's called cesium. That's heavy metals in the air, food, and water. And so, you know, again, it's like, oh, where would that come from? You know, and because toxins are everywhere, it is very difficult to know exactly what one it was.
Yeah.
But just understanding, like mold, for instance, is another big one. I had a high toxin that is associated with mold,
Yeah.
and not just mold in the walls, but I did have a water leak here, right? So our next door neighbor had this massive water leak, and it came into our walls, it came into our carpets, and this happened a few years back. But you know, like I guess the companies come in and they do what they need to do.
Yep.
But maybe that's where a lot of the mold is, because I don't eat peanuts, I don't eat cottonseed, I don't eat a lot of dairy. So you know, it's kind of like an eye opener to, okay, this specific toxin, which is a high toxin for liver cancer, where is
That's
that coming
true.
from? Right? Where
Yeah.
is that coming from? So I
And
just
mold is something like
oh,
I've
dude,
like I have high mold as well. Like that came
right,
in back of mind. And I live in San Diego. I'm like, it's not wet here. But a
right,
lot of people are like, well, air conditioning, and things like that. So circulated air could be something.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so like it was just there's tons. I mean, there's so many things that we went over. Um, but the point was, you know, just taking a look at the toxins that were high for me,
Yeah.
and looking at, okay, what can I start to do in order to alleviate that? Because obviously you're not going to alleviate everything all at once. But if you understand, okay, for this pesticide that I have that's high, that's going to affect my nervous system, my memory, and my dementia, what are some of the things that I can do? Oh, sulfur containing foods. Okay, well, I didn't know that there was a ton of foods that contain sulfur. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you just start to become more aware, right?
Yeah.
With more information, you become more aware. And when you're more aware, you start to make better decisions instead of like pushing away from it. You're like, okay, I know that if I eat this or if I do this specific thing, this is what's going to happen, because now I understand. Now I actually understand, instead of somebody like, don't do this, don't do that. There's a difference between someone just telling you, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, and then someone telling you, oh, the reason why you shouldn't do this is because of this, and this is what it's affecting. And maybe if you did a couple of these things, you could start to, you know, alleviate or get results or whatever that is that you're looking at. And so, yeah, that's what this was for
Yeah.
me.
And that's what Dr. Savage talks about a lot. It's like know your own data.
Yeah.
And that's why, yeah, like similar story, like when I saw my toxin test, after getting it back and then doing the whole thing where he kind of breaks it down for you and tells you what it all means, which, is fascinating in itself. I just didn't even realize what kind of toxins were even out there, like to the degree, and it just keeps increasing, of course.
Yeah, I know.
But now it's like, I got my data. Like I know exactly what's in me. So as you said, it's not blanket statements anymore. It's not
Right.
listening to a podcast and being like, oh, I'm gonna try it all. It's like, well, maybe there's a handful of things where like that really is me. I need to target that or change that in my life.
Yeah, because sometimes when you get all of this information, it can be overwhelming, right? There's a lot of information. There was like, and so the nice thing about it was like, okay, listen, there are some high levels, but in general, your toxin test was actually not bad. It was pretty
Solid.
good, but there's definitely some high levels you want to look into. And here are the 2 or 3 things that you want to start with, which really good for me. Phenols was another one, which is a estrogenic. It's a xenoestrogen,
Yeah.
right? So that's a big thing like that affects testosterone.
Yeah.
And that was high for some reason, right? So
Interesting.
I didn't know that had to do with charcoal and clay and glutathione, so glutathione probably, and so again, these are just some of the things that okay, I got to look a little bit more into the consumer products because that's the phenol portion of it, right?
Okay.
So phenols, which are like our shampoos and our body washes and all of those things, when you get the general body wash or the general shampoo or the general soap, those have phenols, and those phenols have xenoestrogens, which is estrogenic. And the more estrogenic your body is, the less testosterone you're going to have, the man boobs, the belly fat, and just those hormones and unbalanced hormones. So that one was big for me because I know that 100% that that's what that came from, because I use just regular body wash, all of that stuff. But now I'm moving into more organic soaps and,
Yep.
it's just being more just in what's the word I'm looking for? Just being more focused on those type of things, as opposed to just like, oh no,
That's fair.
I'm gonna save money if I use this. But do I want to save money or do I want to save my testosterone? Like, you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
which is downstream of like so many other things. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's easy to. I mean, that's let's be honest. It's a life we live in. It's like everything's convenience or it's cheaper, and those are unfortunately most of the times, a lot of the times, have all this kind of stuff in them. And
Mm,
it was literally just last night I was using Chat GPT and
yeah.
using the camera feature, taking a picture of the different lotions and bottles and shampoos in my house. Luckily, my wife's pretty dang on it.
Right.
But like there were a couple I noticed, and it will say, if you say, like, hey, what are the toxins in here? Or like give it just what you're looking for, it will do the research. So it's kind of like a little hack for anyone listening and watching. Start
Uh,
using the tech that you literally have for free in your hands.
I used it yesterday with my wife has shingles right now, so I used that yesterday because she's at a point where the itching's starting,
Yeah.
and we have a. I know we're going on a tangent here, but
All good.
this is using the tech. But anyways, opened up the first aid, took a picture of it, and said what things in here are good for the itchy scalp for shingles. And chat just came out with things, do this, maybe try this, do not do this, do not do this. It's like it was amazing that if you tried to Google it, there's no way you're gonna get that answer.
No.
Whereas, taking that picture and again, it's just like you said, going to your fridge, going to the bathroom and just taking that picture and saying, okay, what are the things that I need to get rid of and what should I replace them with, right? So that you have both.
Yeah.
Right. What should I go on Amazon to order today to
Right.
get rid of this?
Have it
Right.
delivered this evening.
Yeah. What can I do? And it almost makes, I mean, for guys, for us, I mean, I'm sure for everybody, but that's fun for me. Like, it's like, all right, I'm gonna
Oh yeah.
go in there and I'm gonna surprise the wife. I'm gonna take a picture and I'm gonna get rid of all the bad stuff and I'm gonna get the good stuff. I'm gonna
Get her
order
some
it. I'm
nice
gonna say,
stuff.
hey, guess what I did? You know what I mean? So,
I mean,
and
who
it's
wouldn't
just,
love that? But let
right.
alone, yeah, you're taking charge. So
100%
it's
of,
beautiful.
of your health. So,
That's right.
yeah, making sure that you use the tech you have, but understanding what's around you, what you're eating, and what things have toxins and what they do to the body.
Yeah, man. And I want to go back to the T, like
Yeah.
testosterone. Since you're working with men over 40,
Yeah.
like you got this awesome program. I already said, I follow you and
Thank you.
you put out some just epic stuff. So thank you for one,
Thank you.
because it's a demographic that needs it. And so toxins and testosterone, I'm just like, I want you to just kind of give us what what you knew before, after, maybe you short up. I know you already dropped some knowledge here, but I'm just thinking of how it plays into peak performance, what you're
Mm.
focused on as we get older, just
Yeah, it's the big one that people. It's the last thing. It's the big one that people miss. But I think it's one of those things that when you understand that. Okay, so here's the thing. Testosterone, to naturally increase testosterone, there's a few pillars that you need, right? You need nutrition. You need specific types of workouts, right? Different types of workouts. You need the sleep is huge. So 6 to 9 hours sleep, but quality sleep. 2 to 3 hours of restorative sleep. You need recovery. So recovery, both physical recovery, so you're not getting injured, but also the mental recovery. So cortisol, stress, that causes it causes a ton of chronic health issues, but also to T levels to decrease.
yeah.
So you want to be able to manage that chronic stress that most 40, 56-year-old men have. But so once you have all of those things in place, maybe some supplementation, making sure you're getting vitamin D3 and magnesium and zinc and all of those things. Now, I have plenty of guys in my program who are hitting every one of those pillars. Consistency, right? And we have something called the Alpha Zone inside of the program, because I can have a workout program and a coaching program and a community, but if there's no like KPI, like, okay, Funk, what is the testosterone number that I need to strive for, right? Because testosterone, just that number on its own, it's like it's between 200 and 900 is normal. Like that,
Right.
that makes
Huge
no
range.
sense. That
Yeah.
makes no sense. How can something 700 points be normal? Like when people
Yeah.
have when people have testosterone levels at 200, and I'm speaking nanograms per deciliter, that's total testosterone. When it's 200, 300, 100, 400, 500 ish, that's low. right? That's very 400 low under is very, very low.
Are you seeing most people like in your program, assuming that you know their data, like,
Yeah, yeah.
are you seeing more on the low side or, I mean,
100%. It's
you
the
are?
every single person that comes to the program has low T. Every single person that comes to my program pretty much has low T.
After this whole journey, what I really learned here is like there are a lot of health conscious people. I think I'm considering myself one as well. But no, there's a lot of things. No matter what you do, how much you pay attention to it, how much you avoid it, and sometimes it just got in. And I think TPE gave me a good opportunity to restart my body again.
Because they're at the point when people join my program, they're at their lowest point. So whether it's belly fat, chronic health issues brought them in, whatever it is, when you're taking prescription drugs, that kills your T level. So they're at their lowest point. And so now first getting their T levels checked, because most men don't do that, and that's because most doctors won't do that. So that's a whole other thing. But when you know your numbers, then it's like, okay, well, if I do all of these things, what's that North Star? What should I be striving for? When do I stop? Well, first, you never stop, but it's 600. So in my program, we have what's called the alpha zone. You have 600 nanograms per deciliter of your testosterone levels are higher, and your body fat percentage is 15% or lower, because that's the optimal number that testosterone production happens, right? So now we know that's the number we get to. But there's guys in the program who, like I said, nutrition, following the workouts, they've got everything in place and still have a little bit low testosterone. Maybe it's at 500, maybe it's at 550. They want to get to that 600 plus. And then we start asking questions. Okay, well, you've got all of this in place. What about toxins, right? And that's when is there BPA that you're using, your consumer products like we talked about, right? Yeah. Do you work in a place where there's toxins, right? Maybe you work in a factory, or you know what I mean? And then, or maybe you drive trucks, or where there's all that pollution, and all of those things affect your testosterone, your hormones. And so like then when that starts to happen, maybe my wife smokes all the time. Okay, well that's gonna
Toxins.
That's toxin, right? Like, oh yeah, I work in a factory, toxins. Oh, I drive a bus, toxins. Like, there's all of these things that you're like, okay, because that can be frustrating when you know that you've maybe started at 100 nanograms per deciliter, then you went up to 300, then you went up to 500, and you're there and you're doing everything right, because it takes time to implement everything, right? So now you're there, and you don't know, you got your sleep and everything, and that's generally the last piece of the puzzle. But that's a tough one, because toxins are everywhere. So when you start to ask those questions, okay, where do you work? Let's talk that through, right? We're just asking those questions. What, you're always using lifestyle. Plastics lifestyle. And then okay, let me try that. Let me, remove this. Maybe let me add this. And then, in the end, that could be the one thing that pushes them over, right? So that's where the toxins piece comes in, because it's everywhere. It's tough.
It is, man.
It's
and
tough,
that's
man.
where Dr. Savage, it's super tough, because you can't escape it. And like, you just got to realize, okay, well, that's the world we're in. It's increasing, but yeah, it's up to us to try to control, I guess, the intake of it, right? Like filtered air, filtered water, clean foods as best you can.
When we know that this could be the tipping point, or if we continuously are getting sick, even though we have everything healthy, why am I still getting sick? Why am I still getting, this, or, what's going on? Then you start to look at, okay, like for me, I used to drink out of water bottles all the time, literally. We would have cases on my coaching
plastic bottles everywhere.
On my coaching calls, I'd have the water bottle. And then, the toxins started to become, I started to educate myself on that. And it's like, okay, well, now we get the water filter. And then I tell all the guys, got to get your water filter, the water bottles, the
metal.
Exactly. Right. So it's just, you start making small, changes, and you just continuously do that. You continue to make those small changes. It's just not everything at once, just small things. Okay. Make that one change, get used to it, make it a habit, move on to the next thing. Instead of just trying to like, okay, I did this. Let's just hold on a second. Just let's start with the water bottles. Okay, let's get rid. That's
Yeah.
gonna be tough to get rid of just to begin with because all you do is drink out of water bottle. So let's start. Give us a month. Okay, that's what I
Yeah,
usually
there you
say to
go.
people. I usually tell people, listen, when you change something, we're gonna do it for a month, right? Because some people want quick change. So you're not gonna get quick change.
course. Yeah.
Second thing, you want to build a new behavior, a new habit. So you have to break that old habit and start building a new one. And that takes time. And it also gives you a little bit of grace, right? Like, I don't have to get this right off the bat. I don't have to be perfect. I can just, okay, I can ease my way in. Yes, I'm going to probably have a bottle of water. Oh, yeah, I'm not supposed to have this water. Okay, I'm not going to beat myself up. I still got 27 days left. You know what I mean? So it's like that's a great way to implement new behaviors, new things, get used to that, make it a habit where you don't even think about it anymore. Okay, now what's the next thing I can stack, right?
Is that similar to how, like, I'm just imagining, because yeah, I've never thought of it this way, but it's behavior change with toxins, but it's just like diet or dieting, if someone's trying to lose weight or, focus on testosterone, whatever the goal is, really. Like, there's always like, okay, what are the contributing factors? What can I control, right?
Totally.
And it has to be in layers. Like, you can't just assume you're going to go gangbusters day one and stick with it because we're human.
Yeah, for sure. And that's generally what happens with workout programs. So, generally with workout programs, people get excited. First thing they do is they get to the workouts and the diet or the nutrition, right? And they just go ham on it, right? Okay, I got to work out more. I got to do more. I got to do more. But that's not sustainable. And you're not really taking in the behavior, and the mindset. Actually, you got to get the right mindset as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right about stacking things because the way I have my program, because the workouts are follow along, they don't really have to worry about the workouts. They just have to show up and click that button and then they're working out with me, right? So I try to take that away in regards to the habit. You know what I mean? Like, I try to give them the ability to just say, okay, all I have to do is click play and I'm working out with the functioner here and we're good. The nutrition takes a little bit more time. So when someone comes in, I give them a 90-day kind of period. I say, okay, stick in here for 90 days. That's when you're going to see the biggest difference. Because again, most people want that immediate, oh, I've been in here for 30 days. I haven't seen a massive difference. They do see a difference. They do feel a difference. But that 90 days, and by the time they get to 90 days, they know the nutrition, they know the workouts. Obviously, they've implemented like yoga and mobility because that's foreign to most men over 40.
True.
Right? And it's difficult.
Flexibility in general.
Yeah, it's difficult. So that's something new, and just everything else that goes along the community, all of that stuff. So 90 days for a workout program is realistic. Like, you have to commit to that, and same thing with anything, just committing to one specific part of whatever you want to change, and taking the time to get that new behavior.
Like you said, it's a commitment. So it's like, and that's how I see toxins. And luckily, like I mentioned, my wife has been great with this for a long time. And now working closer with Dr. Savage and getting my own toxin test, and just my eyes are open. And that's like, suggest everyone to just do the same in your own way. It's like, then you start to have more of that commitment, at least to yourself, whatever the self-worth side of things, like however you want to approach it. But it's like, whoa, okay, I can't really ignore it now. So how do I commit to me, and do it in a sustainable way? Like, I got a calendar here with 3 months, actually, ironically. I'm like, there you go, 90 days. Just like, check it off, boom, boom. Amazon, it's an easy buy. Everybody can get it.
And I like that your wife, like the two of you are committed, because that's the same with Angela and I. We're like committed to, like, we have to catch each other sometimes, right? Like, hey man, we said that we were going to do this. You're right. Let's go. Right. So it is much easier when you have that buddy or wife or whatever, which is why it's also good to get into a community or, a place where other people are tackling the same thing.
Absolutely.
Because that helps too. When everyone's on the same journey, that collective identity is much, much better. It keeps you going, keeps you accountable, and everyone understands each other. Like, if we're all trying to get rid of, plastics, right? And we're all in a place where we're all got high plastic toxin, we all know, okay, guys, okay, what are we doing? Okay, we got to do our infrared. We got to do our sauna 3 times a week. Okay, that's the behavior to help get rid of this. Hey, Jimmy, I saw that you posted a picture with, plastic. Let's get rid of that plastic. You know what I mean? So we're all, yeah, you're right, Funk. You're
I'll
right.
buy
I
our
got to get rid of
bottles.
plastic. Yeah, exactly. Oh, where do I get this? So when you're all on that same journey, it makes it much easier. And even just you just feel like you're a part of something where we're all trying to get healthy, but we all understand the battle, right?
The
So we're
outcome,
doing it
yeah,
together.
because we're all in it, right?
Yeah,
Like no one's
totally.
escaping the toxins.
No.
So, and like, yeah, in whatever mode you can do, like obviously we're talking about, sometimes we talk about TPE on here with some of the docs as well.
Yeah.
That's a whole different program in itself. Like go check it out. And there's cool episodes here, but there's a lot of stuff you could do in-house,
Yeah.
yourself, lifestyle changes that are
Mm.
very important. And, I was thinking like, just to kind of wrap it up here, Funk, like some
Sure.
quick wins for like, diet or supplementation, like anything that you think that we're, like what do you kind of recommend folks now with this whole thought of, hey, let's eliminate toxins? So it's like, I'm thinking of like protein, if there's cleaner
Yeah.
proteins or
Yeah.
anything on the diet side you think would be good here.
I think the diet side's important because a lot of the toxins also come from the foods that we eat, right? So if we can eliminate the crappy foods and focus on the good foods, so what does that mean? So if we go into in that portion, so for those listening, I try to make it very simple. It's 3 meals a day. Each meal has a source of protein, high quality protein. So grass fed instead of, grain fed if possible. So when it comes to the foods, you're kind of moving more into the organic and grass fed and wild caught because that's just going to be a much better, safer food from toxins or what have you. So protein, high quality protein. You want a complex carb. That's one thing that most people miss. They don't eat carbs. Not simple carbs, not the pastas and the chocolate and all that stuff. You want to have a healthy fat because healthy fat, specifically if you're a man, has cholesterol, and cholesterol is a precursor to testosterone. So healthy fats like avocado and olive oil and grass-fed butter, like those are Brazil nuts.
Yeah.
When we go, and by the way, with carbs, I'm talking about sweet potato, jasmine rice, quinoa, steel cut oats, and then when we move into the vegetables and fruits, like we've got to be eating more vegetables and fruits. We don't eat enough, and the more organic you can go, the better it is because the broccoli that we eat today is not the same broccoli that we ate 30 years ago, right? I mean, it's just not even close to the nutrients. And so because we don't get as many nutrients from our foods, we do have to supplement. So good high quality whey protein, grass-fed whey protein. I mean, I actually created my own protein powder.
Really? I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
we did that. The Alpha Lean Pro, and I created that like 6 years ago because there was no protein, and probably to this day there probably still isn't much out there that's healthy. Most protein have soy, they have sugar, they've got hormones, and so when you go with a cleaner protein, grass fed, just very clean, doesn't have any of that, all that extra fillers in there. I'm also lactose intolerant, so I built one that's lactose free. But
That's
you want
good.
whey protein because that's the highest quality of protein on the biological scale. It's whey protein. And protein powders are important because we do need protein in most men or most people in general, women who don't eat enough protein. So getting it through a shake, which is with water after a workout, I like to put it in my steel cut oats in the morning. So I'll have steel cut oats, big scoop of protein, tons of berries, and then almond butter. And that's the all
So you're getting like the fat and the fiber all in there as well.
everything. We're getting fats, carbs,
Carbs.
proteins, and the fruits because of the berries, right?
That's right.
So you want a nice high quality protein and invest in that because you're going to be using that protein quite a bit, and you do not want to be using protein that's just not as healthy. You also want vitamin D3. That's another. I mean, we've learned just from COVID and all of that stuff how important vitamin D is for our overall health, our immune, because our immune also helps us fight toxins, and we're mostly deficient, right? That was that big thing that came out. So vitamin D3, magnesium, omega 3s. So kind of like There's those zinc. Those are kind of the ones that you want to make sure that you have. Don't shy away from supplements because, again, the foods aren't the quality that they used to. So we need to supplement that with supplements, right? With vitamins, minerals, and the things that we're not getting from the foods.
Yeah, and what you listed there, it seems like a pretty across the board for the most part. Like
Yeah,
everyone.
it's everybody. Yeah,
Yeah,
like even
yeah.
my sister-in-law, she eats the exact same way, 3 meals a day, right? No snacking, so 3 meals, source of protein, source of healthy fat, source of vegetable or fruit, and a source of complex carbs on that plate. So what you just should be
Yeah.
able to pick it out. Cool, I got it all. Let's eat, right? And
I love
because
it.
you're eating carbs, you're not going to have to snack. Right,
Mm-hmm.
you don't need to snack in between because you're getting enough carbs, which is important for the thyroid, which is important for fat burning metabolism. But
Nah,
that's another episode. That's
I
another
know
episode.
snacking. If you can eliminate snacking, yeah. I mean,
Oh,
like
dude,
you're worried
huge.
about body weight or whatever it is.
Yeah,
Fat. Like, yeah, it's the
yeah,
up and down, right? You're just making your body work and never metabolizing that
exactly.
stuff. So.
Yeah,
Well, funked. I mean, dude, you load of information. I want to like do a whole, extract some notes. We might do that. Start to do that in these
yeah,
things. Over40alpha.com is your jam, right? Is that
yeah.
where people should go and check you out?
Yeah, $1 for a 30-day trial because I need to prove to you that in 30 days you'll lose 5 to 20 pounds. I say 5 to 20 because out of the 15,000 men that have gone through this program, most of them are still here. You lose between 5 to 20 pounds because it all depends on where you start. So $1, that's it, and I guarantee you got everything you need: workouts, nutrition, the coaching. I coach every Friday at 9 a.m. So if you join today, you'll see me tomorrow. But the most important thing is the community because you have a brotherhood of men who are on the same journey as you. So over40alpha.com, $1 30-day trial.
Beautiful. All right, go there, join. Funk, it's awesome. Always awesome chatting with you, man. So thank you. Yeah, I appreciate you so much.
Appreciate you too. Thanks so much.